Last spring, at the age of 30, I was excited to announce that I was re-enrolling back in school. As a single parent, I knew there were going to be difficulties, but I wasn't concerned because I had the motivation to continue my education. There were a few people who were less than thrilled with my decision. I had coworkers asking me how I was going to continue working 40 plus hours a week while doing homework and different assignments. I also had family members concerned with my parenting abilities while I was going back to school. Let me give you a little backstory. When I was 16, my mother was a single parent raising myself and my 9-year-old brother. She worked full-time for a factory in Terre Haute, 12-hour shifts, overnights, 4 nights on and 4 nights off. She was also a full-time student at Indiana State University. She would pick us up after school, and I vividly remember having to drive all the way from Marshall, Illinois to Terre Haute. My brother and I would sit in the hallway while my mother continued her education. 4 years later, she got to walk with her class and graduated. She's now a foreman at a local manufacturing facility. My mother is proof that attending college as an adult can be done. In order to go back to school as an adult, you have to know who you really are. At the age of 18, I don't feel that we really know who we are. From my experience, when I graduated high school, I enrolled at Indiana State. I was majoring in marketing, and at the end of my first semester, I realized this is not where I wanted to be because this is not who I was. I was so burnt out with high school that college just blended in, and I was completely done with it. Going straight into the workforce after that semester, it gave me a lot of experience, and over the next 8 years, I decided that I'd finally realized who I was and what I wanted to do with my life. Going straight into the workforce allowed me to develop a professional network with some of those who I did work with. I now am still in talks with them, and as soon as I graduate, all I have to do is contact them, and I will be able to jump back into the workforce with a former employer and move up in that company. Since I did learn as an adult, I finally realized that I knew when the time was right for me to continue my education. A lot of 18-year-olds don't realize, they just feel that the need to be pushed right into continuing their education in the college life. But as an adult, you do know when the time is right and you can fulfill your dream. Did you know that in 2014, the National Center for Education Statistics stated that 8.2 million students enrolled in college were over the age of 25? That's just like you and me. As students at St. Mary, we are all continuing our education as adults. 73.5% of the 25 to 34-year-olds with bachelor's degrees or higher had year-round full-time jobs. Finally, it's a struggle, but it is worth it. NBC News stated that 75 to 80% of all incoming college students are non-traditional students. A traditional student consists of a college student that lives on campus. They may have a part-time job, but it's not a necessity as a traditional college student. Their main focus at that age is their schoolwork. They go to class, they continue their education and do their homework and go back to their dorm, usually to continue studying. The non-traditional student of the 1990s, which were adults re-entering college, they were working adults with children, and also women who previously discontinued their education to become a homemaker. They're all examples of the non-traditional college students. While struggling, you also need to realize who is watching you. As a parent, I have my child watching me, and you probably have your children watching you too succeed at the education field as an adult. Teachers who are continuing their education also, maybe getting their master's, have their students watching them and seeing that Mrs. Smith is continuing her education because she's wanting to better herself. Just because of her age, it does not defeat the purpose of her returning to college. Common reasons people may think you won't succeed. They ask questions such as, how will you afford it? Financial aid is a great opportunity for students. It loans the money that is needed to continue your education, and also if you keep your grades up, you're eligible for grants and scholarships. There are many options out there for students to pay for college. Another question is, how will you have time? You have to make time. As a parent, I come home, greet my child after I get home from work, and head straight to the computer. You have to make time for something that you are so determined to do, such as gaining your college degree. How will you attend class and work? Internet classes are amazing options. You can do it as you go. You usually are given a weekly schedule as to what assignments are due. You can also schedule around your work period or family period where you can go on campus and spend time in the classroom. Finally, a common question is, don't you feel like you've abandoned your family? In a sense, maybe I have somewhat abandoned them, but I'm not abandoning them. I'm bettering our future as a family. I'm doing this for all of us, as are you. Lastly, it's a huge accomplishment. This is Jerry Pollard. Jerry Pollard is an 84-year-old grandfather who graduated with honors from Northeastern Illinois University in Chicago. He was a history major. Jerry took one class per semester for 16 years. That is exactly how devoted this 84-year-old man was to gaining his college education. The Chicago Tribune states that fewer than 1% of bachelor's degree recipients with no prior degree or certificate were the age of 55 or older. If a 55-year-old can go back to school and gain an education, there is absolutely no reason that another adult cannot do the same. Jerry also stated that, when I retired, I thought, I don't have any hobbies. What am I going to do with all of my time? That's when he decided he was going to go back to school and finish his education. And finally, 16 years later, he did so. I hope I persuaded you into continuing your college education. It does not matter your age or your lifestyle. An education is something that you can gain and nobody can ever take back from you. It is never too late to continue your college education.